Good morning, one and all, for this accent reduction workshop. How are you guys doing in quarantine? I don't know about you, but I love hosting meetings with my pajamas. And Abhijit loves because he doesn't have to take bath anymore. It's fun to host meetings in pajamas. And today being Friday, I hope the donuts. I miss the donuts in our endeavor. Okay, let's begin. Recently, I learned that 93% of the communication is non-verbal. It means 55% is body language, 38% is voice, and only 7% are the words. So whoever said that must be a wise guy who said, it doesn't matter what you say. Everything matters how you say. Today, we are going to explore the 38%, which is the voice. Many of you know that we have pitch, amplitude, jitter, style, and rhythm in our voices. Today, we are going to explore rhythm and accent. My guest, Sheila, today is an accent reduction coach. I'm going to tell a couple of things about the coach before we get started. An Illinois native, Sheila has always loved the rhythm of English, from music to nursery rhymes, from acting monologues to public speaking. Having trained in theater and voice, she coached of actors bringing music for her lesson. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Economics, a DJ degree, as well as a Master's in teaching English as a second language from University of Illinois. She has taken advanced courses in teaching pronunciation and has taught all types of English as a second language course for Golden Gate Language School, Intensive Language Institution at University of Illinois, Carnegie Mellon, Silicon Valley, and San Jose State University. She now even offers private lessons and semi-private coachings as an accent reduction workshop for large groups. She also has created many iPhone apps that teach sound as a discrimination to English language for various language breakdowns. Finally, she even offers pronunciation courses on YouTube, Udemy, and Skillshare. The point I'm trying to make is we have a professional here and who is actually gracefully agreed to do this free workshop. Now I invite Sheila onto the stage. Sheila?
Thank you, everybody. It is so nice of you to have me here today. I'm a Toastmaster myself for the Los Dados Club and for Next Step. And I am here to help you sound better because I know you joined Toastmasters because you want to sound better. So we are going to have today a taste of accent reduction. Now, when people sign up for accent reduction with me, sometimes they take 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. You only have an hour today, so I'm calling it a taste, but we're going to learn a lot in this hour. So first of all, why do you want to work on accent reduction? I'm from Taiwan, I'm from India, I'm from Japan. I love my accent, I'm proud of it. Why would I want to change it? You should keep some of your accent because that makes you unique and people like that. But when you have a really strong accent, and you might not even know you have one, it can interfere sometimes. So you want to work on it so that your audience can understand you and so that your audience will want to listen to you. Now, you don't want to make your audience fall asleep, and you don't want to make people have to concentrate extra hard to focus on what you're saying. So you want to help them out by following the rules of English. So I'm going to tell you a little story to illustrate this. Imagine we have two colleagues, work colleagues, playing Scrabble, you know, that word game where you have to find words with a bunch of letters. And one guy says, I could score a 100-point word if I had a B. So he sighs to his partner, I want that B, I want that B. And his colleague says, well, he gives him the evil eye and says, I didn't know you had a thing for your boss. Well, his boss's name is Abby. So I want Abby is really I want Abby, but it should have been I want to be. So you just get a little bit of the stress wrong. You stress the words a little wrong and people will misunderstand you, and it could be embarrassing, just like in this case. Okay, that's just a little reason. Now, of course, people get really frustrated when people don't understand you correctly, and you get frustrated when you don't get the opportunities you want because somebody doesn't understand you or doesn't really like listening to you. Now, Americans are polite, and they're not going to tell you, I don't understand you, I don't like listening to you. They're just going to be kind of polite. But look at these guys. These guys are frustrated, and I'm going to share with you a story of a student I recently had. He had been in the US for 30 years. That's a long time, 30 years. You would think he would have an American accent already, but he didn't. And he had an interview for his dream position at a dream company. And he actually survived 6 interviews. He got to the very end of the interview process, and they were about to give him an offer. But then at the last minute, they decided not to give him the offer because of his communication skills. So then he looked like the guy in the bottom picture here, or maybe the guy in the top picture. Oh, 30 years and I didn't work on my English. I didn't even know people didn't understand me. So that's when he called me and I helped him and I pointed out what it was that people were not understanding. So today we're going to talk about some of the elements of accent reduction. If you were to work on your accent reduction, these are things that you would work on. We start with vowels or placement of your voice, which is related to the vowels. Then we go into consonants, which, you know, that's like P, TH, V, W, R, okay. Then we go into word stress, like do you say demonstration or demonstration or demonstration? I mean, how do you say that word, right? So you have to know, because sometimes if you don't say it right, people might not even understand you, believe it or not. Then we look at breathing. So sometimes people talk kind of like this, and Americans feel like they are hammering us in the head. Okay, but we want to say a whole phrase in one breath of air. So you've got to get a lot of air in your lungs and slowly leak it out over the course of the phrase. That's something to practice. Today, we're also going to look at rhythm. Rhythm is just which words in the sentence get stressed and what do you do with the words that don't get stressed. There are also 3 other things to study. Primary phrase stress, that's the most important word in a sentence. Intonation, that's when your voice goes up or down. And of course, grammar and vocabulary, those also contribute to somebody's accent. Well, we have time today for a little bit of 1 through 5, so let's get started. Okay, placement, where the voice resonates in your body. In American English, it resonates or rings in your chest. Our voices are pretty low compared to people from other countries. And in order to get this low feeling, we have relaxed facial muscles and a relaxed throat. So in order to try this, I'm going to have you all sigh with me. So sigh sounds like this. Ah. And so the only way to sigh is if you totally relax your throat. And you need to feel like your throat is huge, like an apple could fit inside. Don't constrict it at all. And when you relax all that and you go, Ah, at the bottom of that sigh, that's where you want your speaking voice to be. So that's something we can practice. I'll let you try it right now. With me. 1, 2, 3. Ah, the face and throat are relaxed. Okay, can I have a volunteer to try that for me?
I can do that.
All right, great. Abi, Joshi, you're going to do a sigh for us,
Yes.
like you're relaxing. And at the end of that sigh, you're going to say, the face and throat are relaxed.
Sounds good. Ah, the face and throat are relaxed.
Good. Okay. I felt you doing it. You could get a little louder with your sigh, really let that out, which means you have to bring a lot of air in. And I'm going to stand up for a second because I want to show you what I mean. So a lot of adults are chest breathers. They're just breathing right here. When you inhale, you want that air to come down here and you want it to expand your rib cage. You're going to have air filling up your diaphragm. It even gets in your back. And you want that air to come from here so you have more air support behind everything you say. Ah, and I get real low. Do you want to try it again and get a real big breath of air in your rib cage?
Sure. Ah.
You have a very airy kind of sigh, like, but I want that voice to be happening during the sigh. It's a super loud sigh. It wakes up the next door neighbor.
Okay.
Ah.
I'll try that.
Yeah, okay, that's for you to work on. Let's move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, in addition to our voice being ringing in our chest and not in our face or in our jaw or in our nose or in our throat, we have an additional region of resonation for each sound. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. The long E, as in each, actually rings a little below the ear. So when I say each, you can try this with me, even if you're muted. Each, I want to feel that the sound is way back here. So a lot of foreigners from other countries come and they say English and they make their E here or E, and it doesn't have enough volume going backward. You want lots of volume in your mouth and your throat, and you're going to get that E to ring right here. E, each. And to contrast, I'm going to show you short I. A lot of people, everybody from all over the world mixes up the long E and the short I. So they'll confuse each and itch. So each, but itch. Itch. Itch rings right under your nose. Itch. Each. Itch. So the next time you're thinking of saying beach versus bitch and you don't want to get embarrassed by confusing those words, think beach, bitch. Try to put them in different places in your face. So that's something we study when we do accent reduction. Okay, I have a little sentence here for you to practice. Each itch eats me. Who would like to be my volunteer? Please step forward.
This is
Or I
Renee.
can call on
I
somebody.
won't do it.
Renee, welcome.
Hi.
So can you do the E first and just copy with me and kind of point under your ear? E. Yeah, and remember, really big open space in your throat, lots of air that gets down into your rib cage to let this air out from the rib cage. E. Beautiful. And then here, yes, good. So now you're going to say each itch.
Each itch.
That was perfect placement. Okay, that was
Wow.
really good, everybody. That was an American accent. Can you say each itch eats me?
Okay. Each itch eats me.
Yeah, each
Wow.
itch eats me.
Each itch eats Eats
That's right.
me.
Yeah, you had your vowels perfect. The only thing a little off is the rhythm, but we haven't talked about that yet. So you are right on target. Moving on. Thank you so much, Renee.
Mhm.
So we're back to our list, the elements of accent reduction. We've looked at vowels and placement. Let's move on to consonants. So yesterday I was listening to you for the last 15, 20 minutes of your meeting, and I decided you need to work on the V and the W. There were several errors with the V and the W. So for the V, you need to put your top teeth gently rested on your bottom lip. Gently, I don't bite my lip. And I don't know if you can see, because you might have the pictures in the way, but it says vibrate. Okay? So you need to, if I put my finger on my lip, and you can do this with me, put your finger on your lip, and when you blow, your bottom lip should vibrate. So there's friction. Your teeth are obstructing the air from coming out, but it's not completely obstructing the air. So you get this buzzing sound. And you know you're doing it right if your lip is vibrating. And also, you don't want to get lipstick on your teeth, so don't go like this. Okay, you have to have the teeth on the inside of the lip. All right, now we need to distinguish that from the W, which is very, very different. The W has rounded lips, which protrude very far in front of your teeth. The lips are nowhere near the teeth. So it looks like this. Wah, wah. My lips are so far forward and rounded, there's no chance in the world they're ever gonna touch my teeth. If they touch my teeth, I'm gonna get a V. So, and then another sound that was confused yesterday with the V was a P. And a P is where you have two lips touching. Pa. There's no teeth involved at all. So I'm going to need somebody to say Vic, Wick, and Pick, and keep them distinct, very distinct. We can also do V, we, and P. Do I have a volunteer?
Yeah, I want to try it.
Okay, Yifang, did I say that right?
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yifang, can you first start with V, we, and P? And we're gonna look at your lips to make sure they get really round on the W. And on the V, I should see your teeth a little bit, okay? The teeth
V,
touching
V,
your lips.
V, V. We,
Yes,
we,
yes,
P.
excellent. And then try Vic, Wick, and Pick.
Vic, Wick, Pick.
Good. The only thing is that when you did wick, you changed the vowel and you said week, like the days of the week, right? But when you did Vic, you did the right vowel. So can you do the same vowel after the V and the W? Vic, wick.
Vic, Wick.
Excellent. You got it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, now we have the next, these are mistakes that I heard yesterday. Okay, so somebody, I think it was the table topics master. If the table topics master is here, please come forward. The book was called something about reusing graves. But when somebody was speaking, or it might not have been the master, it might have been the person who was speaking about this topic. Yes, it was the speaker who had this topic. And he didn't say graves, he said grapes. Actually, do you want to hear? Because I have a recording of it. Let's see if you'll be able to hear my recording. Okay, he went over you. Okay, here it is. Did you hear that? I'll play it one more time. He says grapes. Yeah, so that was not a V, so he didn't have his teeth. I mean, I didn't even see him. I just know what his mouth looks like without even necessarily seeing him because I hear what he said. So the teeth were not on the lips. So we want to say, why not just reuse the graves? And you really need to make sure you exaggerate the V a little bit at the end of a word or in the middle of a word. Otherwise, people don't hear it right. And you need to be patient and spend time on something like a V. It doesn't happen quickly like a P. Another mistake we had was we went from a passion for notes and coins to a passion for something else. But instead of we went, guess what I heard? I heard vivent from a passion, vivent from a passion. So the W's became V's. That means the speaker, and this was probably the general evaluator. Yes, I think it was the general evaluator yesterday. So he did not get those lips forward, right? The lips were too close to the teeth and a V came out instead. I think I can let you listen to that, okay?
We went from a passion for notes and coins.
So that was, to me, that sounded like V's, vivent from a passion. So, and sometimes it can be a little between a W and a V, and an American cannot imitate anything between a W and a V. That's a special talent that you have. It's not necessarily a useful talent, but that's a special talent. So it might not have been a pure V, but it wasn't a pure W either. Okay, and the other mistake related to V was at the end, the general evaluator said, overall, it was a pretty good meeting, but there was no V. Instead, he said, overall, it was a pretty good meeting, overall. So you need to take the time on those V's. Okay, can I have a volunteer? And it could be the general evaluator from yesterday if he's present.
I'm here.
Ah, I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so
All right.
Can you do number 2 and 3?
All right, let me try that. We went from a passion for notes and coins.
Yes, you redeem yourself. And number 3.
All right. Overall, it was a pretty good meeting.
Thank you so much, Ashtosh. Did I say it right?
Yeah, pretty close.
I'm pretty close. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so easy because it doesn't really coincide with, if in English, I would want to say Ashtosh. Ashtosh.
Mhm.
I know that you didn't pronounce it that way, so it's hard for me to process it. We'll get to that in a bit. Now,
Okay.
do we have the speaker yesterday who got to talk about reusing graves? Is he present?
It was Mridul. Is he present?
If not, that's okay. Okay, but do you want to do it for us? Why not just reuse the graves? Nice long V.
Why not just reuse the graves?
Yes, beautiful graves. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, moving on, everybody. Okay, so we've looked at consonants, and now we're going to look at word stress. So we stress approximately every other syllable. We do not give attention to every syllable in a word. And number 2 says suffixes often determine the stress. So these suffixes are really important. They tell you how to pronounce a word. I'm going to give you one example today because I heard 2 mistakes with this yesterday. And it's the ION suffix. When you have an ION suffix, like conclusion or demonstration, you always, and there's almost no exceptions to this in English, so this is a great rule, you stress one vowel to the left of ION. That means I'm not going to stress the ION, but I'm going to look for the first vowel to the left, and that's the U in conclusion. If I stress that U, conclusion, and I stretch out that U, guess what I'm going to do with the vowel to the left of that? Am I going to say conclusion?
No.
No, because that's not stressing every other syllable. I have to reduce con to kun. We always reduce to a short U or an ER sound. So if there's no R, it's going to be a short U or a schwa. So it's kun. And it's very fast. Conclusion. But if I say conclusion, now you have destroyed the rhythm of English. And now it makes it harder for people to listen to you. The next word that someone said, well, they pronounced it like this, demonstration. Someone said it was a nice demonstration. But if I stress the A, which is to the left of ION, what do I do with this MON? I have to reduce it. It has to become mun, not mon. Now, every other syllable is important. So what happens to DE? DE gets secondary stress. It's going to get some stress, but not as much as the A. So I'm going to say demonstration, 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 but not demonstration. Actually, if you say demonstration, there's definitely a chance that people will not understand the word and they'll be like, what? I didn't get that. So we want to get that right. Okay, so what you're gonna, these are sentences that happened yesterday. Her conclusion was only 35 seconds. It was a good demonstration. And I'm going to try to play those for you so you can hear them for a second. Okay, here's the conclusion one. Let me play that again. And then that was her conclusion was only 35. And then the one about the demonstration, I'll play that.
It was a good demonstration of the.
So he said it was a good demonstration. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to send you guys into breakout rooms. You only have 2 minutes in your breakout rooms, and you're going to help each other pronounce conclusion, demonstration, and these 3 words. See if you can figure out how to say them based on what I just told you. When you come back, I'm going to call on somebody to show us how to say all 5 words. Okay, you can help each other in your breakout rooms. See you in 2 minutes.
Everyone is in their breakout room. Can you all join? I'm joining number 5, okay?
Hi.
Hi, we are all
Hi.
back.
Oh,
Yay.
really?
Yes.
Not everyone is back from my break room.
Oh, I closed all the breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We forgot the last word, so I volunteer to come back and check the last word.
Okay, so can anybody, can I have a few groups share with me how they said those words?
Murudal, go ahead. Murudal, go ahead.
Okay. Emancipation.
Good. Emancipation. Try it again. Really be really snappy on the syllables.
Emancipation.
Perfect. Yes. Somebody else.
Emancipation.
Excellent. Yes.
Emancipation.
So how about another word?
Emancipation.
Yes.
Optimization.
Okay, that one would be optimization. So it's not optimization. That's kind of British. Americans would never say myzation, but it's optimization.
Optimization. Oh, sorry.
Optimization. Optimization.
Okay, how about another word?
Optimization.
Elimination.
Elimination. Yeah, make sure that A is really stretched out. Eliminate. And remember, you're in your chest. Elimination.
Elimination.
Yes, that was beautiful. Good job. Okay, let's go on to the next element. So I think you guys got something out of the word stress. Now, I only taught you about one suffix. There are a lot of suffixes that have similar rules, and hopefully you can learn that by taking a word stress course, and that'll help you out a lot. So we just looked at word stress. Okay, so we're moving on to breathing. So each phrase should be said in one consistent breath of air. All the words in the phrase will be connected in the breath. So yesterday, the ah counter said, or maybe it was the Toastmaster who said, now let's have the ah counters report. And it sounded like the ah counters report instead of the ah counters report. I want to pull the breath out of my mouth. The ah counters report, not the ah counters report. Does that make sense? Can I have an ah counter from yesterday? Or the Toastmaster from yesterday? I don't remember which one said it.
Tom, you want to go ahead?
The ah counters.
Yes, so when you say the ah, you even connect the ah, so there's no silence between the word the and ah, and the will sound like the ah counters report, one breath of air.
The ah counters report.
So to me, that kind of sounded like the ah counters report, but I still want the ah counters report. Lots of breath, and you're speaking on your breath. The breath is coming out and the words are riding the flow of breath. Kind of like surfing. You're riding the wave coming out of your mouth. Can we hear that again?
The ah counters report. The ah
that was
counters
better.
report.
Yes, the ah counters report. Notice that I don't say the T in counter. I don't say counter. The more T's you have in English, the choppier you're going to sound. So we don't say a T after an N like that. So it's just counter. The ah counters report.
The ah counters report.
That was much smoother. Good job. Okay, so that's breathing, and people spend a long time fixing their breathing because apparently it's very different in other languages than it is in English. So that's something that people spend a long time on changing. And that is going to help your rhythm, which is what we're going to talk about next. So English has stress-timed rhythm. That means that important words are stressed at regular intervals, but less important words are squeezed between those words. And in this poem below, it's a very famous poem, I underlined the important words. Those are the nouns and the adjectives. So we're going to practice saying this together, and I'm going to demonstrate, and we're going to pretend it's like a rap song, and I'm going to say each of those underlined words equidistant apart. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. So you guys can all try that with me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. So that's what we mean by stress-timed rhythm. So what happened is words like are and is got squeezed in between the claps. They got squeezed in between the main beats. We don't want to say roses are red. We want to say roses are red. That's the rhythm that Americans were born to listen to. That's when all the children are learning their nursery rhymes. They're learning how to talk when they're, a year old. They're learning this rhythm. And when you suddenly go and bombard them with a different rhythm, their brains don't necessarily want to process it. So that's the reason for learning this. Now, when I speak English without stress-timed rhythm, you have to focus extra hard on what I'm saying, right? And so everybody's been to some college lectures that were kind of boring. And one reason why they were boring is maybe the way the professor was speaking. Not even all Americans speak in an interesting way. Some of them are really boring. So anybody can make you fall asleep because they might not have the rhythm, they might not have the intonation, they might not have all these elements that I'm trying to tell you about today. So we don't want our audience to get tired. We don't want them to get weary. So we work on the rhythm. Now, you have to know what to stress to get this rhythm right. We're going to stress the nouns, adjectives, negatives, demonstratives, this, that, these, and those, also verbs, adverbs, and question words. So what people forget about usually are the demonstratives. I get students making mistakes with these all the time. If you have this cat, these cats, that cat, those cats, you have to stress this, these, that, and those. So for some reason, that's hard for everybody to remember, but I'm pointing it out to you. Okay, now what not to stress? We do not stress to be verbs, okay? We don't stress is, are, were, been, things like that. We don't stress the prepositions like to and from, in, on. Those are going to be really fast. We don't stress the articles. You still have to say the articles. You have to have good grammar. But and if sometimes the meaning totally changes when you don't use the right articles. But we don't want to stress them. And then pronouns, we don't stress. Conjunctions, no stress. Modals like can, should, would are generally not stressed. And then helping verbs are not stressed. Okay, so moving on to the next page here. Oh yeah. All right, so somebody yesterday said a passion for donkeys, right? But that's not how he said it. So I said a passion for donkeys. Okay, that's with my rhythm. But somebody yesterday said a passion for donkeys. A passion for donkeys. So he made that for just as strong as every other syllable. Passion for donkeys. They were equally strong. And I'm going to see if I can play that for you. Passion. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay, are you ready?
Number 1. The book you've written is called A Passion for Donkeys.
A passion for donkeys. So to me, that was not enough rhythm. There was too much passion. The two syllables in passion were equally stressed. Keys was very loud. There was intonation here, but they were both equal volume. And the for had the same energy. It was a passion for donkeys, but we want it to be a passion for donkeys. There, I wrote it like this, a passion for donkeys. Okay, so that's an example of things that you want to think about. Now, how do we make the rhythm? So you're going to have higher pitch. Higher pitch is like ha instead of ha. Right? That's pitch. So you need higher pitch. You can't just speak on a monotone all the time. You need more volume on stressed words, and you need a full vowel. Now to unstressed words, you need lower pitch, less volume, and a reduced vowel. So we have a sentence here to use as an example. I am not going to say cats are larger than mice. Now that would be very careful. And I would think, oh, I'm such a good student. I said all those words so proper. And my fifth grade teacher would be so proud of me, right? For saying it that way. But nobody talks that way. Instead, we're going to change the word are, and we're going to reduce the vowel so that instead of ah, which is a lot of effort, we're just going to say And instead of than, which is a lot of effort to make that A, we're just going to say than. But we're going to be super clear about the A in cats and the short O sound in larger and the I in mice. So it'll sound like cats are larger than mice. And I clap it out so that cats larger and mice are equidistant. Cats are larger than mice. Okay, so now we're going to go on. Oh, wait, there's the cat and the mouse. Okay, great. We're going to talk about how to squeeze. So squeezing is important. So I have these sentences. Let's see what we have here. We have cats chase mice, cats chase the mice, et cetera, et cetera. And I need those words, cats chase and mice, to always be the same distance apart. And I'm going to squeeze in these other words like could have been. And I put the balloon here because I want you to feel like your lungs are a balloon that are slowly leaking out the air over the course of the sentence. And I want you to feel like a baseball pitcher because you're gonna wind up to throw the ball on the function words like could have been, and you're gonna throw and release the ball on the word chase. So let me demonstrate, and then we're going to have some volunteers. Cats chase mice. The cats chase the mice. The cats will chase the mice. The cats have been chasing the mice. The cats could have been chasing the mice. So by the time I got to this, yeah, it was fast, but I kept my rhythm, right? Okay, so can we have a volunteer to try that? Who's my volunteer?
I can try.
Yes, is it Tong Tong?
No, it's Anshul.
Okay, come forward. All right, so we can do it together once and then I'll set you free on your own, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So 3, 2, 1.
Cats chase mice.
The
The
cats
cats will
chase
chase
the mice. The
The cats will chase the mice. The cats have been chasing the mice.
The
The cats could have been chasing the mice.
Notice when I go like the cats could have been chasing the mice. You could also think like a pendulum. The cats could have been chasing the mice. Or like a
Okay.
circle. The cats could have been chasing the mice. Okay, we're gonna let you do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Cats chase mice. The cats chase the mice. The cats will chase the mice. The cats have been chasing the mice. The cats could have been chasing the mice.
Yeah, you kind of stressed could. You kind of went the cats could have been chasing. So your thing was to stress could have more. So what I did instead of saying will is I said the cats'll. I made a contraction because it takes you know how much effort it is to make a W. A lot of you don't like to make W's. I already pointed that out. You really go to use your lips, right? So if we take away that W and you just say the cats will chase the mice, it's so much easier, right?
The
Can you try
cats
that?
will chase the mice.
Yes, and you don't have to say have either. You can say cats have. So then we don't have to say and open our mouth so much. So the cats have been chasing the mice.
The cats have been chasing the mice.
Excellent. And then for this one, this is hard. This does take practice. The cats could have been chasing. I don't even have to say the VE. I can just say could have. Could have been.
Could have been chasing.
Cats could have been chasing.
Cats could have been chasing.
Yes. Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, we're doing pretty good on time. So how about we put you guys in a breakout room for 2 minutes and you can all practice this with each other. And then we'll have another volunteer when we come back. Okay? See you soon.
Hello.
Hi, is everybody back?
Yeah.
Yes, back.
Okay, super. All right, so who would like to volunteer? How about, have I heard Dan Mergit yet?
The cats chase mice. The cats.
Yes. Oh, okay, so you're there. M. Krishna,
Yeah.
would you like to try it for me?
Okay, sure. Cats chase mice. The cats chase the mice. The cats will chase the mice. The cats have been chasing the mice. The cats could have been chasing the mice.
Okay, you could have a little less energy. So the
Okay.
trick here is that people like to have too much energy on have and been.
Okay.
Probably because your grammar teachers, while you were growing up, were drilling you to get that grammar right. And if you got the grammar right, you were so proud of yourself. And now you want to show it off. But you actually have to show it off less, giving it less energy. The cats have been chasing. I say it kind of while I'm relaxing.
Oh,
The
so
cats have been chasing.
the cats have been chasing the mice.
Yes, that was super good. And the next one, the cats could have been chasing.
The cats could have been chasing the mice.
Right. And while you're giving a presentation and you want to put some oomph into it, you use your hands and you're like, the cats could have been chasing. And you can use this rhythm in your body language, right? The cats could have been chasing.
The cats could have been chasing the mice.
That was perfect rhythm. Always do it like that. I loved it. Okay, we're moving on. So I'm going to teach you some tricks to create rhythm, our toolbox. So first we have reductions. So R is going to become like cats are larger than mice. And than became than. I already told you this, right? Cats are larger than mice. So we have a lot of reductions where these function words become something else, something other than how they're spelled. Hey, you still have to spell them right, okay? You can't go changing the spelling on them. Now his and it will become is, and like her will become and we take out these H's. That only happens in the middle of a sentence. So instead of he's holding his cat, we say he's holding his cat. And instead of saying on his lap, we just say on his lap. So he's holding his cat on his lap. And nobody thinks I'm speaking sloppy. Nobody thinks that I'm hard to understand because I'm so clear on hold, cat, and lap. That's what we need to be clear on. That's what we focus our energy on. He's holding his cat on his lap. Now for for, we change it to fur. Cats eat mice for breakfast. Cats eat mice for breakfast. I don't want to say cats eat mice for breakfast. Now I'll have no rhythm, right? It's got to be for breakfast. And then the last one I've given you today is as becomes as. So mice are not as big as cats. It's not as big as cats, but not as big as cats. Okay, can I have a volunteer? I don't know, who hasn't volunteered yet? Come forward.
I can try.
Yes.
Hi. Cats are larger than mice.
Cats are larger than mice.
Cats are larger than mice.
You have a little too much energy on the word than, and there's a little hesitation between your larger and your than and between the than and the mice. You have to flow in the same breath of air. Larger than mice.
Cats are larger than mice.
That was better. Did you feel the difference?
Yeah, I stressed more on larger, but I could still do better on
stress more on larger, then everything gets easier. That's right. Try the next one.
He's holding his cat on his lap.
Yeah, so
he's holding his cat on his lap.
We're gonna link together on is, so it sounds like one word, right? Everything's in one breath of air, so it sounds like one big long word. He's holding his cat on his lap. So on is. Same with holding is. You have to link the ng to the is. Holding his cat on his lap.
He's holding his cat on his lap.
That was perfect. See, that time you had it in one breath of air. So that's the goal. Okay, next one.
Cats eat mice for breakfast.
Okay, expert already. And the last one.
Mice are not as big as cats.
Great. Okay, that one was easy for you. Good job. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Viviani?
Viviane. Thank you so much for helping me out.
Thank you.
All right, the next tool in the box is contractions. So we have, instead of saying the cat will bite you, that's going to slow you down. You can just say the cat will bite you, right? And instead of the cat could have been chasing the mice, it's the cat could have been chasing the mice. Or if the very bottom here, I wrote could have been. You wouldn't write that in any kind of formal writing, but you can say it. It's totally normal to say it. It is not considered sloppy. The cat could have been chasing the mice. And it's not sloppy because, again, I was so careful on cat, chase, and mice. All right, let's look at another tool. So linking is something I was just talking about with Viviani. So when we have the cat on his lap, you need to link together on and his. We take out the H and it sounds like on is. One word. It sounds like one word linked in the same breath of air. The cat on his lap. Here's another example. That exact cat on his lap. So I'm going to say that exact. I take the D at the end of that and I link it to the beginning of exact, and it sounds like that exact cat on his lap. That exact cat on his lap. It's all in one breath of air. And then we have this is as good as it gets. So I took the S at the end of this and I linked it to the beginning of is. So I say sizz, and then the Z at the end of is became the first Z at the beginning of as. So I get zez. That's kind of complicated, right? There's all these changes in linking. This is as good as it gets. Okay, can I have a volunteer to try these? These are really tricky. Who's super brave?
Can I try?
Yes, Ravi.
Oh, somebody else wanted. Who was that?
This is Sudha.
Yeah, sure, Sudha. Please go ahead.
The cat on his lap.
Yeah, and notice that I didn't say the T in cat. So this is going to be next, but instead I changed this T to a D, and there's a rule where when you're between two vowels, you change the T to a D. So it's the cat on. Then you can link it better.
Okay. The cat on his lap.
Perfect. Next one.
That exact cat on his lap.
Same thing with this cat. You're going to make it a D again, right? Like I have here cat on his.
Okay, let me try it again. That cat on his lap.
Yeah, and I put the T and I made it a D here, so that exact cat on his lap. Notice I didn't even put a T in exact because when you have that many consonants, you don't have to say the T. Is exact cat. There's no T. That exact cat on his lap.
That exact cat on his lap.
That was nice. That was really good. Now, when you said lap, I'm just going to bring you back to earlier in the workshop when we talked about placement of the voice. Your lap was really placed up kind of high, and I want to feel the I want to feel it here more. Cat on his lap, cat on his lap.
Okay. That exact cat on his lap.
Yes. Okay. So that sounded pretty American right there. I mean, maybe you don't want to sound completely American, but if you wanted to, that's what you would need to do. Let's have you do one more.
This is as good as it gets.
You did really good on the good as it gets. You could have a little less and as and make it zez. So the as becomes as.
This is as good. Okay, sorry. This is as good as it gets.
This is as good as it gets.
This is as good as it gets.
Perfect. Did you hear her American accent? Where are you from?
I'm from India.
See, now she has an American accent. Look at that. All right, good job. Thank you so much. We're going to look at blending next. So blending is when instead of saying bite you, you can say bite you. So the T and the Y blend together to become a CH. And that helps us focus less on the pronoun you, because CH is kind of halfway between the T and the Y. So when we do that, it actually improves our rhythm. The cat'll bite you instead of bite you. Bite you. It's totally normal and it's not considered a bad habit. So I say the cat'll bite you. And then for did you, I can change the D plus Y to a J sound. So it says, did you? Did you see that cat? Did you? So that's something else you can study. You don't have to do blending at every single opportunity, but if you never do blending, you will sound choppy. Everybody does blending sometimes, some more than others. You need to do some blending. Okay, let's go to the next part. So the last tool I want to teach you for rhythm is sound changes, and we already talked about it actually. So did I say he's holding a cat on his lap or a cat on his lap? Did I make that T in cat? So every time you make T's in English, it makes you choppier. Now we have to keep the T at the beginning of a word or the beginning of a stressed syllable, but this T is at the end of a word. We don't want this T to be sharp and making our English sound all choppy. Now, of course, British English has a lot more T's, but we're not in England. We're just not there. We're in California. We like smooth English. He's holding a cat on his lap. So that T actually became a D. He's holding a cat on his lap. And you can do that every time a T is between two vowels, as long as this next vowel is not supposed to be stressed. All right, we're going to review. And for this review, I'm going to allow you to go in breakout rooms for 2 minutes and you can practice it. See you soon.
Can we see this slides in our breakout room?
Oh, can someone take maybe, oh yeah, how would that work?
Take a screenshot of it and then pull up the image on your desktop and then share screen. This way, you go into breakout room, someone has a screenshot.
Yeah.
And I'll also put it in the chat screen in a second. Yeah, so that you guys can see it.
Okay.
I had a question about the holding sentence. So can it also become like he's holding a cat on his lap? Like, can you just remove the H in the second word? And
no, that's a verb, and the verb is not a word that we reduce. So you have to keep the H in holding. If you take it out, that's the beginning of sloppy speech.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
No, I lose my invitation to break room. Can someone invite me to break room?
Yeah, you have to click.
Oh, okay. I clicked it.
Great.
All right. I think.
Okay, can I have a volunteer to come forward and read that for me?
I can try.
Okay.
Uh,
If I can get the right page here.
Can you open the slide?
Yes. Okay, here it is.
He's holding a cat on his lap. Cats are larger than mice. They eat mice for breakfast. Did you see that cat? It'll bite you.
Hey, that was pretty good. I would spend a little more time on eat though. So when you have two words in a row that need to be stressed, you kind of need to feel like you're slowing down, right? Because you don't want the eat to sound like it. So you kind of said they'll eat mice, but I mean, they'll eat mice for breakfast. So definitely be very careful when you have a word to stress and another one right after it. Can you just do that sentence again?
Sure. They eat mice for breakfast.
Good, nice job. All right, okay, I like that. So somebody yesterday said, what a meeting, or actually they said, what a meeting, what a
That was
meeting.
me.
And every single syllable was exactly the same.
What a meeting.
So how would you say it now?
What a meeting.
What a meeting.
What a meeting.
So you're going to stretch out the E in meeting more. What a meeting instead of what's a meeting. Yeah, and no
What a
T
meeting.
What a meeting.
No T in meeting, so just what a meeting.
What a meeting.
What a meeting.
Yeah, okay, good job. All right, so to recap, you don't want to lose your audience's attention. You don't want to confuse vowels and consonants. You don't want to be choppy. So that means you need to have a smooth breath of air, not too many T's. You want to figure out how to link the words together. And you also want to learn how to stress every other syllable, every other word. You don't want to be stressing every syllable and every word. And so those are ways not just to make sure people understand you, but to keep them interested in what you're saying. So how can you work on your accent reduction? You can listen to native speaker recordings, pause, repeat, rewind, repeat, imitate them. You can record yourself and compare. Hey, did I stress the same things that he did? You can learn accent reduction theory, pronunciation theory from books or online. You can think of a word or sentence that you're working on and that you might say later that day and practice it. And then when you go to that meeting, say it the way you practice saying it. You can't drive yourself crazy trying to do all these things all day long at all your meetings, but you can have a goal to work on one sentence and make it perfect, right? You can also find a coach to point out your weaknesses and help you improve. You can get together with people who have the same English ability and language background as you and take a semi-private lesson. And you can always go to my website, Smooth English, where you can find access to my Instagram, my Facebook, my blogs, my YouTube videos, my Udemy courses, signups for private lessons with me. There's so many ways that you can work on it. Thank you so much for having me today.
I have a quick question.
We're going to have question and answer right now for a couple minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was really excited about your class. I've been getting the same feedback from everyone every time I give a speech. It's my grammar issues. I have issues with the and s's, and sometimes I couldn't get like she and he, especially if it's like impromptu. And sometimes if I didn't prep for the speech for a long time, that's been my issue for the last year. I couldn't figure it out how to work on it. What do I do? I would love to take a lesson with you. How much do you charge? Is that something you offer?
Yeah, so all of my information is on my website, smoothenglish.com. So you can find my prices there and everything. And I do teach grammar. And you can take it. So what I do is I test students. So I would test, if you want to work on your accent, I test your pronunciation and I write down all the errors that you make and I classify them. And when you do my grammar test, I write down all the errors that you make in your grammar and I classify them and I teach you those things. Okay. So that's how we work on it. Otherwise, you got to just get yourself an advanced grammar book and go through it and work on it and keep practicing.
The interesting thing is if I were to write it down, I'm okay. But when I talk, I have to speak freely, a lot of things just don't come to me. And then I can't even tell that I'm making that mistake until every time the grammarian will point out things that it's always the same thing. It just takes me a much longer time to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that's nerves, right? And that just takes more experience. That's why you're in Toastmasters, to practice giving speeches. The more speeches you give, the better you get with that. And you want to record yourself and go back and listen to your own grammar errors. You'll be able to hear them. And that's how you'll learn, by catching your own mistakes.
Okay. Thank you. This was super helpful. You're really great.
Any other questions?
Sheila, do you want us to take through your website just for fun, or?
Yeah, you can look at my website, and I have videos there on rhythm. I have other online courses and things that, you might find useful if you want to learn more things about it. So there's definitely a lot of things you can do that don't cost a lot of money at this point. They're, virtually free if you want to learn more. So you can definitely take a look at that. So yeah, that's just Smooth English. And that's my website.
And you can share the website. I mean, you can share the page right now. You can open it right now.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, let's do that.
It's more because some participants are interested, right? So.
Okay. Oh.
It's okay. We'll do that then.
Sheila.
Yes.
I always pronounce the word opportunity in a very wrong manner.
What's the word?
Opportunity.
Oh, opportunity. Yeah, yeah. So that has an ITY suffix. And with an ITY suffix, you do stress one vowel to the left. So you're going to stress the TUN. And then you're not going to stress the per part, but you're going to stress the op. So it's opportunity. So yeah, that definitely follows all the rules of word syllable stress. So that's a word you can definitely figure out. Yeah, this is my website. So you can see, I recommend some apps and online courses. I have my pricing. I have online courses for Indian speakers and Chinese speakers and just word stress in general for everybody. I have a YouTube channel. And here I talk about, what I do, who I'm teaching, where I'm from, how we can do, well, right now everything is online, of course, because of shelter. I teach on Zoom. And I have, let's see, I have some iOS apps that let you learn about how to distinguish between certain sounds that might be difficult for you to distinguish between. So if you can't hear the difference between two sounds, it'll be difficult to produce the difference. So in the French app, I have sounds that French people typically confuse, right? In the Vietnamese app, there's maybe different sounds that Vietnamese people confuse. And I have, books that I recommend. These are books that I sometimes use with my students. I often use this book, Mastering the American Accent, and I supplement it heavily according to what the student needs. I use this grammar book a lot, and I supplement this also according to what a student needs. And my pricing page, I have a testing fee. I have different packages for if people do 10, 20, or 30 hours. You can also just pay by the hour or half hour. And I have different prices for if you have a semi-private lesson, then it's a really good deal because you just add a spouse or friend of the same language background for $25 an hour. So anything is possible. There's no bureaucracy because you're only dealing with me. That's why anything's possible. Okay, any other questions?
Anybody has any other questions?
What about adding an accent?
Oh, that's cool.
You mean you want to have like a French accent or something? That's what happened in my last workshop. Someone's like, I want to have a French accent. I want to sound sexy.
I'd be down for an Irish or a Scottish accent.
Oh yeah, then you want to go to an Irish or Scottish accent coach. Yeah, I'm only an American accent coach.
Okay.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But those do exist. There are accent coaches of all types, especially to help people in theater or acting, because those people need to learn accents all the time, right? To do shows. So those coaches do exist.
Okay, like this question is regarding like how much time does it take to get rid of like as in correct my accent like practically?
So honestly, you will be working on your accent for long after you finish working with me. So when you work with me, you learn how to correct yourself. You learn what it is that you're doing that gives you an accent, and then you will learn to identify it. And you will probably catch yourself making the same mistake 20 times before you do anything about it. But it's that process of learning. It's a slow process. And what it is you need to learn what it is that you're doing differently. And then you identify it on your own, and then you begin to correct it. But yeah, as you can see here, in 10 hours, people do all the consonants and vowels with me usually. And in 20 hours, they do a full course of pronunciation all the way through the intonation. And then when people start doing 30 hours or even more, I mean, some people definitely do more than that. They're working on grammar and business writing and just whatever they want to work on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good
Cool.
questions, guys.
Does anybody have any more questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
None of
Please
the
go ahead.
questions will make sense, but I'm interested to know why having sort of an American accent will make us more understandable to an audience.
Oh, I think if you have a British accent, you will still be understandable. But then there's a line between an Indian British accent and a British accent. So sometimes the Indian British accent is even more different and doesn't quite have any of the native qualities, and then it would still be harder to understand. And there are some British people, there's different British accents, right? There's many different British accents. And I don't even understand some of them. I went to school with somebody who had a British accent, and I didn't understand anything he said because there was at least one word in every sentence that I didn't understand. But I have a friend right now who's from England, and I understand everything she says. So it really, depends on their specific accent. But you can have a very clear British accent, and people will understand you, and they'll enjoy listening to it.
Okay, thank you.
Should we wrap up? Any more questions? One last one. Okay. Sheila, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this detailed class. And you taught us what we don't know. And I guess I can now understand my daughter very well.